While the world has been focused on the masked monster's backpack and holster, a tiny, glittering detail in the surveillance footage has sent the Pima County Sheriff's Department into a forensic frenzy. Sheriff Chris Nanos recently confirmed that investigators are analyzing what appears to be a ring on the suspect's pinky finger, visible even through his tactical gloves. This subtle identifying mark has transformed the suspect from a generic figure in a mask into a man with a specific personal signature. For more true crime stories like this, hit the subscribe button. The sheriff has also significantly shifted his tone regarding the motive. After weeks of calling it a burglary gone wrong, Nanos now states he has a hunch that Nancy Guthrie was specifically targeted. This wasn't a random house hit for jewelry. The suspect likely knew exactly who lived there and when she would be alone. This targeted theory suggests a motive far darker than money, possibly revenge or a delusional obsession. As forensic pathologist Dr. Michael Baden noted, the donut-shaped blood droplets on the porch indicate a struggle involving the mouth or nose, suggesting a violent, personal confrontation right at the threshold. Above the desert, the hunt has turned electronic. The FBI is now collaborating directly with the manufacturer of Nancy's pacemaker. A specialized signal sniffer mounted on low-flying helicopters is scanning for the specific radio frequency, RF, pulse emitted by the device. Because the pacemaker's app disconnected from Nancy's iPhone at 2:28 a.m. on February 1st, authorities are desperate to find a ping that proves the device and Nancy is still within the Tucson grid. If you walked into a Tucson gun store this week, you might have seen a pair of FBI agents carrying a binder. According to News Nation and Fox News, the FBI has been canvassing local retailers with a curated list of 40 names and photographs. They aren't asking if these men bought guns. They are asking if any of them purchased the specific cheap strategy brand holster or ammunition in the last year. The list of 40 is believed to be the result of a massive data mining operation. By cross-referencing Walmart sales of the Ozark Trail 25L backpack, a Walmart exclusive, and the $10 holster, agents have narrowed their focus to local individuals who purchased this specific gear. Many of the men on the list reportedly share a physical trait visible in the high-def surveillance enhancement: facial hair visible beneath the edges of the mask. The drama at the Culver's parking lot remains a major investigative pillar. While the individuals detained during the raid on East Orange Grove Road were released, the gray Range Rover seized during that operation is being dismantled by forensic teams. Investigators are searching for transfer evidence, fibers from Nancy's clothing, traces of her medication, or even a single hair that could link that vehicle to the abduction site. As the sheriff warned, expect more of these operations. Law enforcement is leaning forward, willing to execute aggressive search warrants to keep the suspect off balance. For more true crime stories like this, hit the subscribe button. With the Cody's database returning a no match for the DNA found on the discarded glove, the FBI has deployed its most powerful weapon, investigative genetic genealogy, IgG. This is the same technology that caught the Golden State Killer and Idaho suspect Brian Kohberger. Law enforcement has confirmed they recovered a DNA profile from inside Nancy's home that does not belong to her or any cleared family member. By uploading this unknown male profile to public databases like GeneMatch, forensic genealogists are currently building a massive family tree. They are looking for the suspect's third and fourth cousins to work their way back to a name. Retired FBI agent Lance Lysing noted that with the resources currently being poured into this case, a genealogical match could be found in as little as a week. Despite the high-tech tools, the investigation has entered what agents call the slog. With over 50,000 tips flooding the FBI's Phoenix field office, investigators are sifting through a mountain of junk data to find the one lead that sticks. The morale of the 400-plus agents on the case is being tested as they transition from the adrenaline of the initial search to the grinding work of forensic verification. The silence of the Catalina foothills was shattered on the night of February 13, 2026, not by the wind through the saguaros, but by the rhythmic thumping of federal rotors and the blinding flash of high-intensity tactical lights. This was the moment the public had been waiting for, the first major hot lead in the search for 84-year-old Nancy Guthrie. The target was a $1 million Spanish colonial estate on East Orange Grove Road, a home that sits in a neighborhood of quiet wealth, just 2 miles from the residence where Nancy was taken. Inside the home lived 37-year-old Luke Daly and his 77-year-old mother. While SWAT teams breached the residence, a simultaneous and high-stakes traffic stop was occurring near a local Culver's. A late-model gray Range Rover, a vehicle that had become a central focus of neighborhood surveillance, was boxed in by unmarked federal units. Daly was pulled from the vehicle, detained, and transported for questioning. For 18 days, the Pima County Sheriff's Department and the FBI have played their cards close to the vest. But the detention of Luke Daly marked a significant shift in the investigation's posture. Unlike previous persons of interest, Daly has not been cleared. In a press conference that bordered on the combative, Sheriff Chris Nanos was asked point-blank if Daly was still a suspect. His response sent shockwaves through the local community. Does that mean he's not a suspect any longer? No, we've got evidence to process from the home. What if we find Nancy's DNA in that home? Through his legal counsel at an elite Arizona law firm, Daly has maintained his innocence, stating he has no link whatsoever to the Guthrie family. Yet, the forensic reality tells a more complicated story. Agents were seen removing bags of evidence, including electronic devices and clothing, while forensic technicians wrapped the gray Range Rover in plastic to preserve transfer evidence. The focus now turns to the list of 40. Reports indicate the FBI has been canvassing Tucson gun stores with a binder containing 40 names and photographs. They are looking for anyone who purchased a specific $10 Walmart brand holster or the Ozark Trail 25L backpack, the exact gear worn by the masked man on Nancy's porch. The psychological profile of the suspect is also evolving. Elite FBI profilers from Quantico have noted that the suspect's behavior, trying to hide behind a small bush and struggling with the Ring camera, suggests someone with a low criminal IQ but a high degree of local familiarity. If Daly or someone in his circle is involved, it points to a targeted theory. This wasn't a random burglary, it was a mission. Whether the motive was financial exploitation or a darker personal grievance, the net is tightening around the East Orange Grove Road connection. For more true crime stories like this, hit the subscribe button. While the SWAT raids dominated the headlines, a much quieter, and perhaps more chilling, clue was discovered by digital sleuths and independent journalists. Tucked into the side of Nancy Guthrie's front door was a small, white business card. Upon magnification, it was revealed to be the professional card of an investigator from Arizona Adult Protective Services, APS. This discovery has cracked the case open in a new direction: elder abuse and financial exploitation. APS does not conduct random door knocks. They respond to specific reports of neglect, physical abuse, or, most commonly in affluent areas like the Catalina foothills, financial grooming. The timing of the card is a point of intense forensic debate. Sheriff Nanos has claimed the card was left by an investigator after Nancy went missing, triggered by a neighbor's concern. However, private investigators like Steve Fisher have pointed out a massive flaw in that logic. If the card was left on Sunday, February 1st, the APS investigator would have had to walk through an active crime scene, past yellow tape and bloodstains to place it in the door. The more likely and more disturbing possibility is that Nancy was under a protective watch before she was taken. This leads back to the DNA discrepancy that has baffled the public. The FBI has confirmed that the DNA found on the black nitro glove found 2 miles away does not match the foreign DNA found inside Nancy's house. We are no longer looking for a lone kidnapper. We are looking for a team. One suspect is the masked monster on the porch, the one wearing the Walmart backpack and the $10 holster. But who is the second person? The inside man or woman who left the DNA profile that is now being run through investigative genetic genealogy, IgG? This secondary suspect may have been someone Nancy trusted, a helper, a contractor, or someone she met in the months leading up to the abduction. This would explain why the sheriff is so certain the hit was targeted. As the FBI uses the signal sniffer helicopter to scan the desert for the 300 millisecond RF pulse of Nancy's pacemaker, the lab technicians are working 24/7 to build a family tree from that interior DNA. They are searching public databases like GEDmatch and 23andMe, looking for the third and fourth cousins of the man who stood in Nancy's hallway. The investigation has moved beyond the black glove, on the side of the road. It is now a race between the high-tech signal sniffer in the sky and the microscopic genetic fingerprint in the lab. As day 19 approaches, the search for Nancy Guthrie has crossed an invisible line. The FBI has officially made contact with the federals, the Mexican Federal Police, and authorities in the border town of Nogales. While there is no direct evidence Nancy was taken across the border, the proximity of Tucson to the Mexican line, less than 2 hours, makes it a logistical necessity. The investigation has taken a dark turn into the world of dark web ransom demands. TMZ reportedly received a fourth ransom note, this one demanding $6 million in a specific, non-Bitcoin cryptocurrency. The sender claimed to have seen Nancy south of the border 5 days ago and warned that they were being watched by cartels. While the FBI often dismisses these as clout-chasing hoaxes, they cannot afford to ignore them entirely. The amount of money now on the line has spiked to $200,000, with contributions from personal injury firms and anonymous donors. Yet the silence from the masked monster is deafening. The signal sniffer technology, mounted to the skids of the sheriff's helicopter, is currently focused on the rugged terrain of the Santa Rita Mountains. Because the pacemaker's Bluetooth disconnected at 2:28 a.m. on February 1st, the search is looking for a passive ping. If the device is still inside Nancy, and she is within 30 feet of the helicopter sensors, the signal sniffer will catch it. The focus remains on the pinky ring clue. FBI forensic artists have enhanced the surveillance footage to show a distinctive ring on the suspect's small finger. This detail is being used to filter the list of 40 gun store customers. They are looking for a man with a specific jewelry preference, a Walmart shopping history, and a connection to the Catalina foothills. For Savannah Guthrie and her family, the slog of the investigation is an agonizing endurance test. The sheriff's admission that he hasn't cleared Luke Daly, combined with the mystery of the APS card, suggests that the answer isn't in a distant cartel hideout. It's likely buried in the records of a local Tucson resident who knew Nancy's routine all too well. The net is moving from the desert floor into the digital family trees of the IgG databases. The next 72 hours are critical. If the DNA matches a name on that list of 40, the search for Nancy Guthrie will end not with a signal from a helicopter, but with a knock on a door that someone thought they had locked forever. If you have any information on Nancy Guthrie, you can contact the Pima County Sheriff at 520-351-4900. And you can also contact the FBI at 1800-CALL-FBI or go to tips.fbi.gov. And as always, you've been watching True Crime Story Vault, where every story is told with facts, empathy, and respect for those who can no longer speak for themselves. For more true crime stories like this, hit the subscribe button, like, and comment your thoughts below. Until next time, remember, the truth is never buried.